Welcome, Kelly. I'm so excited to have you here. So there's so much I know that we can talk about all day long, but for today, I wanted to dive into therapy, a service that is near and dear to my heart and all of ours. Before I say what that is, for those listening and those watching, Kelly Kennedy here is the owner and the founder of True Wellness, the True Wellness Center, which is a European biological clinic. We're going to have another segment where she's going to explain all the beautiful things and the awesome services that go along with that to help you with your health and being an advocate for yourself. Kelly, if you want to introduce yourself and just give us an overview of who you are. I know you wear many amazing hats, but just to start with so our audience can get to know you a little bit. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you, Alina, for having me. I feel like I was very blessed by those above when we met just over a year ago. And what I focus on for the last 20 years is really the physical body. And I think that's where we came into alignment. Like, I had been in a car accident. I had a lot of physical injuries that led to a lot of other stuff. I got involved into this natural medicine, this biological world, changed my life. And I started working more in the biochemistry and orthomolecular medicine and working as a doctor, as a non-doctor doctor, but as a functional medicine person, a biological practitioner, helping people understand how the body works. And as it would have it, I came to the conclusion that as much meditation and yoga and everything I did, I just felt inside my body there was this unease still after 23 years of working in this industry and working on myself. And I was introduced to a technology in Germany when I was there that literally had a visceral reaction for me, and it changed my whole world. And I feel like since I did that, I've been on the magic carpet ride that is zooming like a rocket ship to bring people in my life like you that just flows. Because when you come from the heart, when you come from authenticity, I'd come from here for so long. You know, I was a really good student. I was a write, read, memorizer. I went to an Ivy League university. I wanted to become a medical doctor. I wanted to go to the best schools. Like, that's who I am. So I really am good at this.
The head stuff, yes.
Harder for me. The feeling, the intuition. And when I got involved in this industry 20 years ago, it was because of the car accident and living on painkillers and muscle relaxers. And I was introduced to this practitioner that did this energy work, everybody told me. And I was willing to try it. And I went in and I got the work done. And when it made such an impact in my life that I was able to get off muscle relaxers and painkillers over a month, I came back to that gentleman. And I said, so how does that work? And how did you do that? And he goes, it's energy. Cool, huh? And it was not cool, Alina. I a satisfactory answer for my 23-year-old brain at the time that was very science, tangible driven. And through the course of these years, to access that same tangible information, but in this etherical world that makes it so much more touchable, tangible, feelable, visceral, and real. And we thank Rasmus for bringing us this technology. So to that end, Rasmus Gauck-Bergenhausen is the gentleman from Austria that created technology called Sound of Soul. And what it does is it takes our heart rate variability, because every heartbeat is a frequency, right? When we go to the hospital, we get hooked up to an EKG monitor. It's looking at our electrocardiogram. It's looking at our electricity in our heart. It's looking at our frequency, which can be measured. And when you're going beep, 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 it's good day. Beep, not good day. No frequencies. You want lots of variability in that frequency. Heart rate variability is about having variability in your heart rate, because you got to compensate for every single thing in life. And when you can't compensate anymore, beep, lack of compensation. Mm-hmm. So what Rasmus figured out by working with Dr. Masaru Emoto, who's the water crystal guy that so many of us are familiar with, and Masaru Emoto's work, Rasmus didn't really jive with Emoto's work at the beginning because he was a PhD in water chemistry, 2 of them. And he didn't think that if he just talked to water, it would change molecularly. But he couldn't disprove it. And after 17 years of working with Emoto, he created Sound of Soul, because what he realized is not everybody could create a beautiful water with their minds, but when he hooked up their heart rate variability and played it to the water, I just got goosebumps, everybody had beautiful water crystals. Because when you convert your beautiful heart. Everybody's beautiful at the core.
Mhm.
And convert that beautiful heart rate frequency into light and music. And he's figured that out through 3 universities he works with in Austria, where it takes my heart rate on my heart rate monitors and it converts it into music and light. Now that music can be harp, it can be sounds of the ocean, it can be birds, it can be anything. And I remember I got chills just now thinking about doing yours, because it was so beautiful to see you viscerally feel your own heartbeat. I mean, I hooked you up on it, and the minute you heard that first tone, I saw your eyes swell up a little bit, and you got a little, like, because it's like touching.
Yeah, it's happening right now, just thinking about it. It's amazing. I know, that's why I'm so excited to talk about it. And perhaps, like you mentioned, I know Rasmus and you'll have this interaction going on, but perhaps, you know, he can dive in a later segment and explain that. But what I would love for our audience listening, so the sound of soul, this is really what I wanted Kelly to be able to give us a highlight into what that is. And I love how you explain heart rate variability to those who may not have previous knowledge on that or understanding. We all have a heart, we all have a heartbeat. You can get the flatlining, means you're not breathing, you're not existing anymore. But when you are alive and there are issues and anxieties and other things that have taken over your life, this is an avenue that you can pursue to receive. And so I would love for you to kind of speak to that, as far as what does the sound of soul, what are the benefits of it? Maybe we can start there for someone.
That's a great question, Alina. So when we are played our own heartbeat back to ourselves, you're completely in harmony with yourself. You're completely resonant with yourself. You have resonance. And when in Chinese Eastern philosophy, chaos is illness. Harmony is health. So this is inflammation, this is health.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes when we first hear ourselves, just like when we go through the journey of delving into our own personal journey, we find out, well, you know, looking in the mirror is not always easy. And sometimes when that mirror is played back to us, it's hard, because we're able to face our stuff. We're able to look at, go, why is it so difficult for me to be locked down in my house for 4 weeks with the people that I chose to spend my life with? Why is it so difficult for me to be quiet and still and not be consuming all over the place right now? And what Sound of Soul allows us to do is, first of all, tap into that inner space, our inner peace, and become resonant with ourselves. And really what's important is, can you spend time alone? And if you can't spend time alone, Ian says it all the time, then you're in bad company. Bad company, because you've not done the work on yourself to be okay with who you are and how you view life and what your belief system is. And you want to be resonant with that, because otherwise, who are you?
Yeah.
Right? And so Sound of Soul allows you to just settle into who that is. And then you constantly can replay it. Like we did our session together, I don't know, it feels like a lifetime ago now.
A few months ago, yes.
A few months ago, we did our session, but you're able to listen to it day in, day out, night in, night out. And
Yes.
son listens to mine all the time. He listens to his own.
Right.
I sent it to my mom because she's been missing me through the coronavirus. So I sent it to her. She didn't really understand it, to be honest with you, but that's okay.
See, and I want to pause you there, because I feel like that's an important part for those listening. So the Sound of Soul is, you know, because my logical brain and a lot of ours speaks loud first. Like, what is this? What do you do? Right? You literally, so I have my massage table in the background there. You literally lay down. You lay down, you know, you lay down on a table similar to that. You get comfy. Kelly, the technician, you know, will basically hook you up to the Sound of Soul machine to start reading your heart rate, your heartbeat. Okay. And once it starts measuring that, Rasmus, the designer, the guy who developed, the scientist, the brilliant, like, musician, everything. He basically found a way with his technology that once you're connected to his Sound of Soul, there are like pre-recorded sounds, pretty much, from from like you mentioned, like harp sounds, musical sounds, ocean sounds, nature sounds, everything. And basically this machine starts playing your frequency, your heartbeat back in those different sounds. And Kelly will basically, she's trained to learn, and anyone else who uses this Sound of Soul, to be able to start monitoring and reading your heart rate variability, and also to start choosing the sounds, so that as you're listening to it, you have headphones on, you're listening to it, you're laying there trying to close your eyes and relax, but you start hearing basically your heartbeat played out in different sounds. So they can be musical sounds, they can be nature sounds, you know, there's a whole variety of it. And go ahead.
Why don't we give them a link to your Sound of Soul and my Sound?
That's a great idea. I will definitely, I'll link that in the bio. Yes, you can hear it. Yeah. Absolutely. Because it sounds, like you said, it can be very like, well, what is this? Nebulous, ethereal, but it's literally, if you want the logistics of it, of one of these treatments, you lay on a table, all you have to do is lay there. That's your job, and just listen.
Your job is to listen to the music.
Listen to the music. Exactly. There you go. The music starts playing out.
You do, but listen to the music. That's
it. Listen to the music. And so I had been wanting to, I saved it for like a year. I had been wanting to, you know that. I'm like, when's the right time? Because, you know, I know I'm a nerd too when it comes to these things. And I also know, especially with the kind of coaching support that I've entered into, that we all have a specific voice that is in our head space, a voice that's in our heart space, a voice that's in our gut space, our core. But this is specifically highlighting your heart voice, your heart song. Your heart is full of your passion and your life purpose and your emotions. And it also is, it's your seat of emotion. It's very protected. And this is a way to open that up and listen to your heart song for the first time. And when you do that, like Kelly said, it's almost like you're standing in front of the mirror, but like not like you normally just look at yourself for a few moments. You're literally gazing and you're seeing yourself, sometimes for the first time in a long time, or the first time period. And that part is hard to explain exactly the layers of what happens in that moment. But I can say when I finally received it and I heard, I think you played out 3 different songs,
selections of music.
Yes, sure. Yeah, selections of music, exactly. The first one was like a beautiful like ocean beach scene, and then there was some harps in there at one point, and then at the end it was like this angelic voice singing. And I have to say, like, laying there and listening to it, it's like, words cannot describe how I felt. It was just the emotional aspect of it, and it unlocked so much more for me. And that's why I was so excited to kind of highlight this, because, you know, this is, even if you don't understand what's happening, when you actually listen to your heart for the first time, it's like you activate and unlock this deeper level of healing that you didn't even know you needed. And then the effects of that are ongoing afterwards. So you don't even have to understand it to start receiving the benefits of it. It happens instantly. So yeah, I will definitely include the links for mine so people can just hear it. Yeah.
And I'm happy to send a one that I have so that they can hear 2 different selections and hear how it's different, right? And that's giving them our heart. Like, I want everybody to understand, we are sharing with them our most intimate parts of ourselves, our hearts. And what you said is so true, Alina. And I think that regardless if you understand what's going on, it's a feeling you get. And the feeling that I got overwhelming when I did it the first time was joy. Just pure joy. And I can be honest to say that for the last 18 months, a little longer than that now that I've been able to work with Sound of Soul, I've never achieved this level of happiness in my entire life, regardless of the happenings around me.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's going on around me, I'm still here, happy, and I no longer come from here and I make my decisions from here.
Yeah.
This describes it as you're the musician and I'm your conductor. And it's this thing together, because speaking to the parasympathetic, or the healing mode, is what you talked about. We have sympathetic, which is fight, flight. We have parasympathetic, which is digest, heal, recover. And it's the balance between them that allows us to have health. And heart rate variability is looking at your sympathetic versus parasympathetic. And as the conductor, what I'm doing when I'm looking at your readings is I'm going, which is putting Alina in the most healing states? Which selection of music, when her heart rate's converted into it, allows her to increase her healing capacity? And when that's there, I just sit back and listen to you.
Yeah.
I know it's a good one because I'm about to fall asleep, because I get so relaxed with you that I'm like, okay, wait, I'm doing a session. They're relaxed, I'm relaxed, because it's something we do together.
Right.
Like, I'm a technician, you're a technician, I'm a technician, we have a couple other technicians in our office. And if one of your clients wants to do it with you, they shouldn't do it with me, because they don't know me. They don't have a connection with me. They have a connection with you. And that trust is key in helping that person also have the introspection to understand.
Right. To understand what transcends the actual explanation and the logical part. And I want to speak to something that you brought up a little earlier about, so this time period that we're all experiencing, this pandemic time, my husband and I were actually just talking about this. All of us have experienced this. You mentioned, you know, why is it so hard for the, you know, to be the last 4 weeks, actually we're entering 8 weeks over here with being with our families in self-isolation. Why are you finding it so hard to be with the ones you love, the ones you chose to have a life with? And, you know, one of the things is we are so, before this happened, before this pandemic situation happened, where it literally put a pause on all of our lives with our jobs and our daily routines and everything like that. How distracted were you with your work routine, with your daily lifestyle? And think of the distractions, honestly, keep you from getting to know yourself and visiting the core of who you are, right? And so, like, I was thinking about that, like, why is it so hard for people to be still right now? I get it. I get there's the worry, there's the uncertainty, there's the I need to make money, I'm not working the way I used to, I'm bored, whatever is going on, I'm overwhelmed. But this is, you have a great pause right now. So what better way, opportunity to take advantage of reconnecting to that part of yourself? And that's why I love the Sound of Soul, because if you're someone who's been struggling with time with yourself, time with your family, and you know, you feel that, you know, you can't explain it, but you have that feeling like there's some parts of you that you haven't been able to go there for a little while for whatever reason, the Sound of Soul is a beautiful way to just literally just listen and just let it happen. Because what is going to happen is your heart will have the space and the grace to speak and to sing. And it's not
grace. What you just said down. That is beautiful. Your heart is, I love that. Your heart is going to have the space and the grace. Mm-hmm. It gives you grace.
Right.
We all need more grace in our life. And the autistic community, when they do it, almost 100% of the time, this is the comment. I don't care if they're high functioning, mid functioning. Now, if they're nonverbal, we see calmness, but they obviously can't tell it. But the mid range to high functioning autistic and high anxiety clients, this is almost word for word what they all say when they're done. I feel more like myself than I have in years. Right.
That gave me goosebumps, literally, because yes, absolutely.
What's better than that?
And you know what, when I first started receiving, you know, sessions, treatments from Ian on the emotional aspect of it, you know, I knew that I had been disconnected. I had been ignoring and suppressing feelings for a while. That's a defense mechanism, protective, but I was ready to face the music, if you will. And I just remember even when he was doing some of that emotional release for me, the deeper suppressed emotions that came out, I felt like I could breathe for the first time. And that started me on this journey to be curious about more ways that I could receive support to allow my heart and my body to heal in a way that I couldn't do on my own yet, because of all of the years of the protective walls and the defense mechanisms and the subconsciously doing those things. But the Sound of Soul is literally like, it's that huge door of awareness that opens up the way, that is a really simple way to start that heart healing. And that heart healing, your heart, you know, go to heartmath.org or speak to Kelly or anyone, but like, your heart has a mind of its own, and it has very similar physiological aspects like your brain does, and it controls a lot, is what I'm trying to say. So when you don't listen to it and you keep suppressing it, and you are experiencing years and years of pain and even the physical pains, a lot has to do with the suppression of the heart. So to start with this heart therapy, if you will, to listen to your heart song, it's more than just playing beautiful music, but you, like you just said, you know, you basically come out of that session like, wow, like I just got a chance to reconnect and see a part of me that I always knew was there, but I like forgot about, or I, you know, I haven't been able to quite
distracted. I've been distracted to see it, to feel it, to know it, to
yeah. And even taking 5 minutes to just listen to it, like, okay, so after you're done with the service or, you know, the session, Kelly, you know, you sent me the links so I could listen to there was 3 different ones, but there was the 2 main ones that really, when you saw it, like really relaxed me, brought me to that state of relaxation, that connection point where I was like, yeah, ooh, that's the girl that I know, that I felt like really like just myself and just 100% like content and joyful and all those deeper emotions wrapped up in one, but all the good stuff. And I remember the way that I did self-treatment with that, and I still do even months later, is anytime I can't sleep, anytime that I'm having a moment, like, you know, I've gone through a lot of grief, I call it when I have to grieve it out, I will play one of the two. Like, so usually when I have to grieve it out, I'll play my ocean beach sound songs. It's like 7 minutes. And I like immediately, I'll like literally go into my car, put it on blast or put my headphones on. And as soon as I hear the first few seconds, it's like my heart takes a deep breath and it's like, there she is. And then if I can't sleep, I listen to the other one, which is more like the angelic singing. And that one immediately puts me to sleep like a baby. It's amazing.
That was one I was almost falling asleep listening to, because it was very, you just got really into the parasympathetic mode. And it's a recalibration. It's a reset. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, on our computers when they're not working, we get to go Control Alt Delete. And it stops. It goes, Task Manager, what are you working on? What programs are running in the back? I never thought about it before, but basically that's Sound of Soul. Control Alt Delete. Stop it.
Reset it. Yeah, that's a great way.
Reset it. See what the Task Manager, get rid of all that crap, and go back to your original operating system and let it just flow.
Right. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I also think, you know, what you're talking about with the more and more people that get trained and know how to use this, I think it is a really good piece to understand that connection, you know, because even regardless of having someone who you trust do the Sound of Soul for you, just to understand, you know, the way that our heart communicates. I like to, like when I'm speaking to clients and whatnot, just to show them what is said without words. When you're with someone you really love or admire, notice what your body language is doing. You know, if you're sitting next to even like a best friend that you have a great time with, or a loved one, a spouse, you know, especially someone that you have like a romantic kind of tie with, there'll be like this longing, like this body like turning, like wanting to connect in. And that, to me, I envision that's like your heart, like literally, you know, creating that magnetic field, like, you know, come next to me, right? And then the same is true for people that repulse you, or it's like, all right, stay away. But like, without explaining, without words needing to be said, there are people that you naturally gravitate towards and people that you gravitate away from, or, you know, you're pushed away from. And that is a very basic understanding of the magnetic fields and the communication that your heart is giving off. So when you give the space and the grace for your heart to be heard, and, you know, with the Sound of Soul, it's going to speak volumes, and it's going to be able to say a lot of things that the brain hasn't allowed it to say for a long time, because your brain is really important, but it's also full of the logical knowing, and, you know, the years and years of protecting you and all the fear voices, you know, so those fear voices really have a way of blocking the heart voices. And so this is a really great way to highlight, what does your heart want to say? And usually your heart wants to say something that's connected to your life purpose, that connection piece, you know, and why you're here. And that's why it feels so, I feel like that's why it zeroes in on putting your body into that state of relaxation immediately. Because it's like, this is what you need. Just listen. That's it. You know, it's amazing.
And just let's not for nothing, it's in 27 countries, right? But there's only 4 in the entire in the North America. 1 in Toronto, 1 in Arkansas, 1 in Cary, North Carolina, 1 soon to be in Seattle, Washington in the next couple of weeks, and us. So I counted wrong. There's only 4 in the entire North American continent right now, as of yet, because we really just rolled it out. We've really just begun to educate people about what sound is.
Right.
Let us know, share this with your friends, let them know about this technology, because they're using it in hospitals and psychiatry centers.
That's what I was going to ask you. Can you just briefly, like, for our audience who wants to know, how else is the Sound of Soul being used?
So a lot of doctors purchase it in other countries, from what I'm told, with Rasmus, for their own personal self-care at night when they come home, to decompress their day, particularly psychiatrists. There's a psychiatric hospital that has like 5 of them, and only the people that use them are the psychiatrists. Now, I have my own personal philosophy about that, and I don't think that should be, but hey, I get it at some level. They want to be helpful, that they got to be as healthy as they can be so they can help others. It's also being used a lot in labor and delivery. So there's 2, in Italy, there's a hospital that's using it in labor and delivery and for heart surgeries. They're trying to use it in lieu of pain meds. And for those of you that have had a baby, let me tell you what's happening in Italy. They're having to wake the women up when they're now 10 centimeters dilated to tell them it's time to push.
Wow.
Sleeping while dilating.
I'd like to hear from people who've given birth before this. How do you feel about that?
I'm so upset that I did not know about Sound of Soul 7 years ago when I had my child and I was in labor for 4 days.
Yeah, I was reading some of those case studies, if you will, whatever it's called, but it's fascinating. So I'm going to be providing, just to wrap it up, I'll be providing more of those links and resources to find Kelly, more about the Sound of Soul, Rasmus, all of that, how you can set up your session. You know, don't hesitate. If you're curious about it, you can reach out to myself, to Kelly, and we can, you know, just answer more questions for you. But anything else you want to share with that part before we wrap that up?
I think, you know, you don't have to be, like, we're skilled practitioners, we're trained, but this is a musical device. This is a musical device that has a side effect of healing. Anybody on the planet can do this, because everybody on the planet has a heart. It's not unique to us. This can be taught by anybody and everybody. And as we tap more into our hearts, we're not going to be so lost. And we're going to feel found instead of lost.
Yeah. So listen to the music of your heart to be found. I totally agree with that. And it's something that, you know, you can't really describe until you get it, until you receive it and get it done for yourself. So if you want to be found.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Kelly. That was amazing. And I'm excited to share that with everyone.